Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a vintage Coach handbag video. I always like to talk about a few of the vintage Coach bags from my vintage Coach collection, as well as just talking about vintage Coach in general. So if you like vintage Coach, come on aboard. Go ahead, give me a like, hit the thumbs up button, as well as subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss out anytime whenever I upload videos on vintage Coach. So yeah, let's go ahead, let's get started. Let's jump right in. So for today, I have a couple of vintage Coach catalogs right here, and I just wanted to go through a few of them with you, or at least one of them, and I'll come back on camera at some point and go through a few of the others. So for today, let's just go ahead and do a flip through of my vintage Coach catalog from 1996, and I figured that would be pretty fun if we talked about a few of the bags in the catalog. And I picked out a few handbags from my collection. I don't know if all of those are pictured in this particular book, but we'll find out as we do the flip through. So let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, I'll come back on camera and at some point we'll go ahead and look at more bags out of my collection as we do flip throughs. So this particular book has the table of contents. In this particular book, they also have the Berkeley series, the Sonoma series. They have women's shoes, men's accessories, a business collection. They have travel and outerwear. So this is a pretty fun catalog to go ahead and take a look at. So the first couple of items that we're going to look at on this particular page right here, you can see they have the city key fob pictured right there. They have the little city key fob pictured, and I have it right here in the British tan in my collection. So it's nice to see that back in 1996, the city key fob sold for $32. And it's pictured there with a mini skinny case. So the city key fob back in 1996 sold for $32. It's style number 7105. The dimensions are 3.5 by 2 7/8. And they have it pictured with a mini skinny case. That city key fob, I remember back in the day, if you didn't pick up one of those, you weren't nothing. You had to have your stewardess bag or your dinky, and you had to have that little mini key fob as well as one of the backpacks, the top handle backpack. I just remember loving those and having those in my collection when I was younger, and to this day I still have them. And I'm just teasing when I say if you didn't have that, you weren't nothing. But you know what I mean. It was some of the it items or it bags back then. So yeah, I remember wanting that little city key fob and just having it, just like back in the day when we had our pagers, when it was hot, just like nowadays how it's hot to have your cell phone. Back then it was hot to have your pager, and also it was hot to have that little city mini key fob, the city key fob by Coach. Ooh, on this next page right here, I'm just blinded by all this beautiful red leather. All this beautiful red leather. I hope it's coming up on camera. It just looks so, so cute. All these many different items right here with the red leather. They talk about the Gracie bag. They talk about the Fletcher bag. They talk about the signature Sling wallet and the Bixby Sling. So these are all just really nice, beautiful bags. They decided to showcase the vibrant color of red. It says red, the vibrant color of celebration, in this 1996 catalog. Moving right along to the next page. On the next page, I see an organizer briefcase as well as a cellular phone case. And like I said, just like with the city key fob, back then, the hot thing was to have a cellular phone case by Coach. To have that vintage, well now this piece is vintage, but back then, you know, it wasn't vintage. It was just hot to have that cellular phone case. And I have it in the mahogany. So yeah, these are really some nice items to take a look at and enjoy. I forgot all about this golf ball tea caddy. I forgot that Coach had made a vintage version of that. I don't know if a lot of those made it on the secondary market, if, you know, if they've survived and if people still have a hold of them. Of course, here on the next page, the beautiful Willis bag. The beautiful, lovely Willis bag. I love the Willis bag so, so much. I was talking about the Willis bag in one of my other videos, and I love it in British tan and of course in black, but I had a beautiful gray Willis bag. And at the time, I don't know what I was thinking. I ended up selling that one out of my collection, and I have so much remorse about letting that gray Willis bag go. If I ever run across another beautiful gray Willis bag, or also I had the Prairie saddlebag growing up, or the Vintage Coach saddlebag. It looks much, sometimes I get tongue tied and I say, call it the Prairie bag. It's the Prairie bag, or the saddlebag is the correct name of it. Yeah, but I had the saddlebag when I was younger in gray. And if I could get that again in gray, or a Willis bag in gray, if you guys ever see that on the secondary market, please DM me on Instagram and let me know. I would love to get that saddlebag again in gray, or a Willis, a vintage Willis in gray, because like I said, I had both of those at some point and they both got away from me over the years, and I would love to get a beautiful gray vintage Coach in my collection again. Then it goes on to talk about the Berkeley bags. Beautiful Berkeley, the Berkeley Zip and the Janice Legacy bag. Both beautiful bags, so, so pretty. They also have the duffel sack that was the Berkeley duffel sack, and then the Berkeley duffel sack. I don't have a Berkeley duffel sack, but I do have a couple of the duffel sacks in my collection. And another quick story here. The Berkeley saddlebag. Now, I never had it, but I've had other saddlebags, and I found the Berkeley saddlebag in red. It says in this book, so I found it in red and in another color. And I didn't buy them. I don't know what I was thinking. I found them at a consignment store a while back for like $15, and I didn't. It's a regret to this day. If you ever run across a vintage Coach bag, or any of the Berkeley or any of the Sonomas, my advice would be go ahead, any vintage Coach bag, if you can get your hands on it. Nowadays, they're like a diamond in the rough. They're getting harder and harder to find, you guys. So that's just my opinion here on my channel, but I did run across the Berkeley saddlebag, and I didn't go ahead and pick it up. These are some of my regrets. So my 2 regrets for vintage Coach would be, number 1, letting go the Willis that I had in gray. And of course, my saddlebag was my adolescent, teenage years saddlebag. That just got away from me with time. I can't do anything about that. But the Willis bag that I had, I purchased, and then I ended up selling it, which I shouldn't have. And then my other regret was running across the Berkeleys at a consignment shop and not picking them up. That won't happen to me again. Nowadays, another thing that has happened to me over the years is finding a bag like the Willis or the Station and thinking, well, I have that one already. I don't need to pick it up again. I don't need a duplicate. Why purchase it a second time? Now, the way I'm collecting vintage Coach and how much I love it, it doesn't even matter if I get duplicates in my collection. If I run across the bag, I'll purchase it, and I can decide later if it's a duplicate for me or if I want to thin one out. I've also had the case where I've had several stewardess bags and made a decision out of which ones to keep and which ones to sell, and then selling one, because all the bags are different. The Station bag, you might have 3 of these and they're going to still look a little different or feel a little different. None of them are the same. They're all unique in their own way. So if you have one that you like for some little reason, then, it's best to go ahead and keep it, because the other one might not satisfy you. You might have one that you like the brass on, or you might have one that you like the leather on, or you might have one that you like the way it has tarnished over time. Even though you cleaning it with Brasso, they tarnish differently, they patina differently, they wear differently. So when you have them and you love them, either keep 1 or 2 or all of them that you're going to keep, or if you're gonna thin out your collection, try to really think about which one you want to keep and which one isn't going to bother you to sell, because there's been so many regrets over the years. So yeah, I don't want this video to be too long. We might have to come back and finish talking about some of these lovely bags, but I just wanted to go ahead and share a few more photos. Here is a few more bags. The Watson is on that page right there, along with a few other bags. Then we have the Helen's Legacy bag right here on the model. That looks so, so cute. The neutral colors of Coach is just so, so nice. That's one thing that I like about vintage Coach is the neutral colors of it. These colors go with some of everything. And then here we have on this page right here at the top, you could see there is a Prairie bag up there at the top of this page. There's a Prairie bag. And like I said, I had the Saddle bag. I have to be really, really careful because sometimes I just talk, you know, about Coach. And I know, you know, some of my girls out there, we want specific terms. We want to say it the correct way. If I say leather lotion or leather moisturizer, we want to say everything. I try to say everything the correct way as I can. But just, you know, just talking about the love. You can't beat talking about your love for the bag. Man, this Anderson zip is so, so pretty. This Anderson zip is pictured in bottle green, but it's so beautiful, that Anderson zip right there. It's pictured in the lovely bottle green. I don't know if the color is going to show up on my camera, but it's so beautiful. And then, of course, my baby right there. I show this picture a lot. The Taft bag. Now, this one was not a regret. I ran across a Taft bag a couple of years ago at a consignment shop, about 5 years ago. And I am so happy that I went ahead and that I picked it up, because I almost left it. And had I left it, I would be regretting it to this day, because I still have that lovely Taft bag in my collection. Let me see if I could grab her real quick. Okay, so I'm back, you guys, and here is my lovely Taft bag. When I ran across this beauty at a consignment shop years ago, I'll say about 5, 6 years ago now, maybe longer, that I've had this bag in my collection, but I started to leave this bag, and I'm so, so glad that I didn't, because I had located this bag with a couple other bags out of my collection, a stewardess bag. So it took me a while to go ahead and authenticate it and, you know, verify and validate that it was in fact a bag. And you're not going to remember all the bags. I have the books. I grew up on Vintage Coach. You're still not going to know every single bag, no matter who you are. So I had to go ahead and just make sure that it was the real deal and the real McCoy. And I'm so, so happy that I didn't leave this baby. Years ago when I picked this bag up, and it sounds small now because these bags go for, I would say, in the upwards of 150 or more. When you, especially in good condition, they're hard to find. The bigger the vintage Coach bag, the harder it is. And this is my opinion again. The bigger the vintage Coach bag, the harder it is to find in good condition. It seems like some of the larger ones, the larger Ramblers, the larger briefcases, they just didn't make it over time. They didn't sustain and, you know, last that long. But this particular Taft bag right here, I was so, so happy to go ahead and locate it and pick it up in wonderful, excellent, good condition. So this is what she looks like, and I have her stuffed in there. And this is just the crease from age. You're going to see that on the raw leather. Yeah, but this beauty right here, I was so, so glad that I was able to locate her in this wonderful, good condition. And I think I'm going to go ahead and end, because we've been here for a little while, on this lovely Taft bag. I hope you guys enjoyed my flip through of this catalog from 1996, and I'll come back at some point and we'll do some more flip throughs on the remainder of my Vintage Coach catalogs. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on my channel. Check out my playlist on Vintage Coach for some of my other videos on Vintage Coach, and I'll see you again soon in another video.